Hi everybody, Monique Bol here. Well, this is something very new to me. Um, this is going to be my very first YouTube channel ever. And yeah, it actually, the way it started to do this is, I post a lot of, pages and, what I made in my journals and all my jelly prints and, all those things. And on Facebook, and I attended a lot of, Facebook groups who are doing, like mixed media and art journaling and that kind of stuff. And people are so, yeah, they say that they're so fond of my work, of what I'm doing, and that they're very interested to see how I go about, like on my backgrounds and how I came up, with quotes and stuff and all these things. And they even start to ask me to, hey, do you have a YouTube channel? And I said, well, I don't know. I know I don't. And I'm like, I'm not that very, technical skilled, if you will, to put all these things together. So you know, I just go with the flow. So, but I felt like, okay, I could give it a shot. I could give it a try and see how it goes. And if people would actually listen to me and see me and want to see me on how I do things. And yeah, let's try this one together. I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy what I'm doing, and if there are some, things that I need to adjust, or, because I don't have any professional equipment right now. It's just my smartphone, and I have this little small tripod that I cling on to something and hope for the best. So I have to start somewhere. So if it's not that professionally looking, well, my apologies, but maybe in the near future I can do better. But for now, I'll go with this. And as you can tell, I'm a bit of a messy crafter here, so I have a lot of stuff on my desk. Well, that's how I go about. And I have a quite small space here. It's just a little part of my bedroom that I'm filming. So this is like a niche kind of thing going on here. So I'm a bit tucked away here, but I manage. And I have this closet at the back with all these baskets where I put all my equipment. So yeah, well, as you can see here in front of you, this is actually my art journal. Basically, it's just a plain old notebook. You can see the lines here. And what I have here is now all these pages that I made so far, and that I've like posted on Facebook on several groups and stuff. What I do is that, because it's a notebook, it's not that sturdy when it comes to the pages. So I glued about 3 pages together in order to get that sturdiness a bit more. And you don't need to buy like a fancy art journal. It's yeah, if you don't have that kind of finance to do so, this is the most easy way to get an art journal, I would say. The cheapest way. I do have a fancy one as well, which I didn't use yet, but yeah, I would love to do, especially when you're starting. It's for the best to start as low budget as possible, in my opinion, because you need to find out if you're liking it or not, and if you don't want to waste any money, then this is a good thing to go for. So, what I normally do in this kind of a journal, I gesso it, you know. Sometimes I leave the lines in there as well. It's great texture, but I don't want that always. No, not all the time. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to start with putting on some gesso and make it all white. And after that, I will dry it with a heat gun that I'm sorry, that I got here. And then we'll continue from there. So let me start, and I'll come back when I finish. Oh, quick note, this is the gesso that I use. It's a local brand that I got from the cheap store. It's a Dutch brand, so but you probably would be able to find some gesso in like a cheap store, or even an art mark. It's a bit sturdy this time. I don't know. Yeah, I lost the lid, so probably that's the reason why it doesn't go as well as it should. And I use this regular paintbrush and go over it like that. So I'll continue to do this and dry, and I'll come back for the next step. So I'm back. As you can see, the gesso made it a bit more, yeah, that the lines doesn't show that as much. So I dried it, and well, it's sort of dry. It's not that dry, but dry enough for me. And well, we're starting with the paints, and I use different brands of acrylic paints that I got everywhere. This is even from Germany that I got. This is from, I think I bought it in some cheap store. This is gold and silver, and these are the ones I purchased yesterday, with also the blue one. Love those colors, very bright. I love bright colors. And also this purple. You know, people go about with purple, either they love it or they hate it, but I actually love the color. And these are, you know, so from the cheap store, some neon colors as well. I love neon because, you know, it highlights the background so much. It gives so much oomph. And yeah, that's what I, you know, basically start off with, to highlight it a bit. And well, you can use a brush, you can use, you know, like a sponge, or, you know, what you have in hand, or even baby wipes works as well. So I'm going to start with let's see what I'm going to do. I think I'll start with the yellow. This is very bright. And I just put it on a page just directly. You know, you can do it several ways, but, you know, you can put it on the side, or on a, mostly I do it also on an acrylic block or whatnot. But, you know, in this case, I just put it on a page, just how I feel like doing. So I have my paintbrushes here. I clean them up and then go to the next, and have some paper towel on the on top of it, of the railing here, so to clean it off. And just start painting, you know, no rhyme or reason, just go with it, and just start coloring the backgrounds, and whatever you feel like, you know, and just do as you go. There's a bit more I think I'll do on the side. Oh, see, even I make accidents, so nothing to be ashamed of. So yeah, like basically like I am, I'm a quite messy crafter, but you know, I'm just, that's the way I roll, basically. And if people still like your stuff, you know, it doesn't matter how it comes about, you know, doesn't matter. So, and that's all what you need to think of is just, it's for you, you know. And if people like it, then that's a bonus. That's a definite bonus. But yeah, it's all about, you know, oh yeah, I just smear it as well, you know. Like I said, messy crafter. I think I'll call my YouTube channel The Messy Crafter. I think that would be a great name. So yeah, I think I'll cover the whole page with yellow and then go with other colors after that. Oh, see, it's very, very runny. So yeah, it's the paint that's very runny. So that's why I'm making a mess quite easily. But yeah, it's like I said, it's from a cheap store in Germany that I got. Now, anything against Germany, ho ho. It's just the paint. But it works wonders, you know. It just gives them more oomph, and yeah. And people are always struggling, what I heard about doing backgrounds, and like that they don't get, you know, the pizzazz that they are looking after. But yeah, I think that maybe if you want to give it a more oomph, why not try neon colors, you know? Just give it a go and see if it is what you're looking for, you know, if that's the thing that you're comfortable with or not. But I saw so many people, you know, doing this with neon. I was like, and it makes so much brighter and happier. It makes me happy to see that, you know. It's very, although I never used to like neon, but you know, in art, I love it. I absolutely love it. It's very, it's I don't know. It's just so bright and happy and I don't know. It lifts you up. And yeah, that's what it does to me. So I need to clean up a bit because it's starting to get very messy all around, like it would ever help. But hey, doesn't have to make it any worse now. I even have it on my face. Oh my god. Well, there we go. First YouTube channel, and I'm already, you know, going like, yeah. And I told one lady, like, I'm near, you know, professional. I see people doing stuff with intros and everything. I'm like, how do they do that? I need to take a course or a class for that because I have no idea. So, but, you know, I just roll with what I have right now, and maybe in the future I'll be able to do that as well. But yeah. So I'm thinking, yeah, what maybe is important to know is that you have different color groups. You know, you have the warm colors and the cool colors, and I'm like, if you do this kind of thing, you know, with yellow you can go either way. You can go with, you know, like greens and blues, you know, or you can go warm. You can go with reds and orange, or, you know, or like this kind of magenta color. It can go both ways. But if you want to combine those two, then you need to make sure that you dry in between, into preventing mud, because that ain't pretty. And that's a bit difficult to get rid of, you know, but you can always put some white in there, you know, if it happens. So it is fixable, but, you know, But that's something you need to be aware of. So I'll start, I think, with this one. And yeah, just go random. I think I'm a bit circly today, so I'm going in circles, like so. Yeah. I have no idea what I'm going to make today, but I just go with the flow, basically, and feel how I go with it. So I feel circly, so that's what I'm going to do. So maybe some, I have still some leftover paint here. Yeah, because I put a lot of, and that's the thing, you know, normally I wouldn't suggest you to do it just on the page or directly. You can do it safely here, or, you know, but yeah, but I'm a bit, you know, I just go do my own thing. So yeah, something like that. Maybe another one here, little one. It's a bit more. I think I just, in this case, I'm gonna put it here a bit on the side now, just on a regular acrylic block. And to brighten it up a bit. Here, yeah, so it gets a bit more oomph, and that's what you also get with gesso. It's very forgiving when you put some on it, and it just, you know. Okay, well, something like that. Okay, well, something like that. Oh yeah, and you need a lot of baby wipes. In my opinion, I use a lot of them. And yeah, I buy these huge piles of them because, you know, I'm always running out. So I think I'll do some blue. I like this blue, so let's put some on there and as well, and maybe another circle like so. And you think, what kind of a mess is this going to be, you know? But, you know, no, don't worry about that. Just go with it. Just run with it. Don't overthink too much, because that's what you're trying to do, you know? That's the temptation that lies in with this. It's just you know, don't think it has to be a masterpiece all the time. Which is easy to say because, you know, you want to, you know, post something nice, you know, and not some crappy stuff. Well, if you think it's crappy, you just don't post it. Simple as that. But most of the time, it isn't as bad as you think it is. You know, people are very much, yeah. People like it more than you would ever imagine, you know. I had sometimes stuff that I was like, oh, I'm not that fond of, but hey ho, I just post it, I'll see where it goes. And most of the time people actually love what I do. You know, sometimes I'm very stunned because I was like, you actually like that? But you know, it's all about taste, you know. It's all about taste. And some people love your work, others don't. And you cannot please them all. It's impossible to do so. So another circle here, and I think one in the corner. And then I noticed that the blue is a bit darker than you would see here, you know. It's more vibrant here than on the page, but maybe because of the yellow that it does that way, it's more darker. It doesn't go, yeah, a bit greenish, but not much actually. So the paint dries quite quickly here, so maybe that's the reason. Yeah, I think we're done here. I'm going to use my leftover paints on another journal because, yeah, that's what I do. So I move this aside for a bit, and then I'm gonna put some paint here, just you know, use it up. Like I said, I'm very economical when it comes to these things, and it enhances the background, so you get a glimpse of what I might do next. so yeah, something like that. So I'll clean this up and then we'll do another color. So get my journal again. So I think we'll do some purple. That's also a very challenging color, huh? Purple. Why not? It's all about challenges. It's all about renew yourself and to redefine yourself and to, you know, explore new things. So just do some purple. Why not? If you think, where is this going? I would tell you, I don't know either. It's all about the process. It's all about, you know, how you feel. And that's what I said. It's all, for me, this is therapy. It's all about relax the mind and just not to overthink much. So that's what I do, you know, try to go as I please, actually. And I do notice when I put these things on that there has to be some kind of balance to it. So I always try to balance it out a bit, you know, here and there, to make it a bit more, I don't know, sensible. Yeah, I don't know. If I use phrases wrong, my apologies. Like I said, my English isn't that great, but I just, as long as you understand what I'm trying to say here, then it would be okay, I guess. Yeah, So that's the purple for me, I think. Yeah. So I'm gonna clean it up, and then we'll go to the next color, I think. I have still some baby wipes here I can use. So otherwise that would be too much of a waste. Okay, what about some green? Yeah, or orange. I'll start with the orange. Yeah, put some orange in there. Well, I'm back. As you can see, I added a few more colors in there, some green and some reds. These are the two that I put on. And now for me, actually the fun starts for me, because we're going to stencil. And yeah, I use several stencils that I got in my stash. Most of them that I got are from like AliExpress. I think all of them actually that I got here. Let me show you a bit what I got here. This one and this one. This one. I have a lot, I have an organizer piled up with all these kinds of stencils. This one as well. And yeah, and maybe I'll get some others as well, but for now I'll start with these. And I thought of putting some colors that I already have here, or even some darker or even lighter, in every mood that I'm in. So what I thought was I'll start with some, let's see, with some dark blue. Put it on here on my acrylic block. And I just have these, like cosmetic sponges. You can get it in most, like cheap stores or drugstores, or they have those. And I'll just grab randomly a stencil and just put it on there and start stenciling, actually. So dapping it, and I'm doing it a bit on the side so that there isn't a lot of it on it, because then it can smear a bit. So I press it quite firmly, well, not that firmly, but firmly enough that it doesn't leak. And I go in an up and down motion to get as crisp as I can. It doesn't have to be, though. If you're in a mood like, oh, I don't want to be that precise, or, well, that's fine also, I mean, and you get this effect already, this contrast in it. And mostly I use colors that isn't there already, because otherwise you wouldn't see it. But then again, it could be seen, but more subtle. It's all about the mood you're in. So for instance, this is more light blue, so this would work in this case, and go over like that. So I put it now on the sides, the stencil. It's not that I'm just focusing on which direction it goes. I just go where I think, And you still can see that the paint is still a bit wet here and there, but that's okay. It's all about adding to the texture, I would say. So don't bother with it if it happens. Yeah, I'll go with that, and then we'll grab another one. Go over all these, and that's why but most of the time start with like circling mode. You need to put something on a page and just go with it. So, and it will reveal itself, basically, you know. And sometimes you do have pages you're like, meh. You know, I have here one as well in my album when I started, you know, with mixed media very early in the days, and I think I'm going over it. You know, I probably will show you the one, but for now I'm leaving it to it. Let me see. I think I'll do it in the middle. Oh yeah, if you go in the middle, in this case, you need to press a bit harder to get it also in the gap, like so. With some books it can be a bit more difficult, but in this case, like I said, this is a very resilient album, and this is an album that I really love to work in. And because, you know, no matter how far along I am in a journal, it always stays quite reasonably flat. So pick it up, and I'll put something here in the side as well. I noticed that the red isn't dry yet, but you know, we'll see how it goes. I'll just go over it anyway, so it's going to be a bit more purple, I'll think, but hey, it's all adding to the texture. And if you don't like it, just go over it later, you know, that's no problem. So there you go. So I'll change up a stencil, do another color, and I'll do another one. I'll do this one then, and then we'll continue to the next step. So I'll show you this one. I think I'll do some yellow. Excuse me. Also a lot of circles. And then just go for it. For me, this is the most relaxing and fun part, you know, because then you actually see the page coming more alive. So, as you can see, it also picks up some other paints as well, which adds to the texture, you know, and I love that. I love that kind of effect that it does. So I will continue to do so with other stencils as well, with different colors, and after I'm done, I'll be back. So I finished stenciling, and yeah, this is basically yeah, the result of using several colors. And I'm going to adjust the camera a bit so you can see it probably better. Yeah. And yeah, so what I'm doing next normally is stamping, and I have these several textural stamps that I use. I have a pile of them as well. Most of them are, again, from AliExpress or from another kind of brand, Dutch brand that we have here. And yeah, I'll start stamping around and make a new dimension and another layer on this background. So I thought of starting with this, yeah, kind of scriptive stamp, and just go randomly over the page. And I use my Stays On for this one. Probably Memento should be a bit better because it's more permanent than this. But, you know, I don't have problems with using this one as well because, you know, the whole wet surface is already done. So I can use this one. And I just go over it, just pressing it. You know, you don't have to press that hard if you don't want to make a clear impression. It's all about taste, you know. And it doesn't matter if it's a perfect impression or not. You just go over it randomly just to make it a bit more interesting. And that's basically how I, you know, create my backgrounds, most of them. And you just go and look at it where you think it goes best, you know. But basically it doesn't really matter where it goes, you know. It's all about creating some interest in the background, and in the end it's all about, you know, the whole thing, you know, the background, the focal point that you're using or not using, for that matter. You don't even have to use a focal point. You know, you can use a text just as a focal point. That's what I did also with one of my pages. You know, you don't have to search for a certain image to create it, but it's all about, you know, your personal taste, I would say. A bit on the side. Okay, I think I'm gonna switch now from stamp. If it's black, I'm not always cleaning up my stamps. I know it should be a bit better to do so, but yeah. I like the 50 cents here, so I'm gonna use that one as well. I never used that one before. As you can tell, it's very clean. So yeah, just go what I can find and what I found interesting at that time, or what I can find by hand so far, you know. Because like I said, I have a pile. I have up my closet a lot of organizers with stamps, and a lot of organizers with stencils, and even dies I organize in organizers. So yeah. So I'm somehow a bit organized as well, you know. My oopsie, I'm pretty much organized but chaotic at the same time. So I don't know about you guys, but yeah. And maybe I'll do a little tour of, you know, my craft. Well, it's a very small craft. I think I can do a very short video on that one because, you know, I have a lot of stuff, but, you know, it looks like I don't have a lot. So I tear a bit, which happens with you know, like if you use a notebook, you know, the paper is quite thin, even though if you glue some pages together, it still can be very, but everything is fixable. Mostly I just grab a little bit paint and just rub over it, make a mark, and there you go, it's gone. And then you have this blob, but then you can stencil over it if you like. I can grab a stencil like this, grab a baby wipe, and just go like that. And then you get this effect like so. Then you don't have that much of a blob anymore. So it's easy to fix. Always remember that you can fix a lot of things. I have some tearing here as well. Just put some paint on there. No. And just go over it with a stencil with another color. Problem solved. So quick tip, so don't think like, oh, it's tearing and now it's ruined. No, just go over it a bit. I have still some leftover paint. Stencil gone. You don't see anything. So, and even if there are some tears, well, just say it's all a part of the texture. And people will suck it up. And if they don't, well, they don't. So, but that goes to show that nothing is perfect, you know. And don't ever feel intimidated by someone's artwork, you know. We're all humans and we are all making mistakes, even the most professional ones, you know. And I don't consider myself as, you know, like professional, but, you know. You know how to cope with these things when you do this quite a while, you know. You don't panic as much as such as what you did maybe in the beginning. Like, oh, it's ruined and now how am I going to fix it? And I still have sometimes challenges like, how am I able to going to fix this one? You know, I have a focal point that I had this I left something on there and the paint of the glue was still wet and I ripped it and I was like, oh, how am I going to fix this? And I just put a sticker on it, on her face, like it's part of the thing, and put some stickers all around it as well to look like it's part of what I was going for, you know. But that's the whole thing. And I also watch, you know, like YouTube by Carolyn Dubie, and she talks about these oops moments. Like, I think it's about the opportunities, you know, that provides itself to create even more and make it actually even better because of those mistakes. It gives you a totally different direction sometimes than what you're planning to do. You know, nothing is actually quite planned. You have an idea in your head, but planning, yeah, you can to a certain degree, but it always turns out way different than you would ever imagine. Sometimes it would be worse, sometimes it would be even better, but nonetheless, it's all a learning thing. So, I'm thinking, do I want to have some more stamps on there? I think I would. Yeah, let me grab something with circles or dots, or what should I do? I think I'll go with some dots. So, like so. So this will continue for a while until I'm satisfied with how it looks and how it comes together. And then we're gonna grab the focal point. I think that's time for it. And I have already one prepared to save some time. And then you'll also know how I'll get my focal point, or my quotes, if you will, you know. In that regard, I'm not that creative. I just look up on the internet. Mostly I go to Google and just find a subject that represents that image and find a fitting quote on that one. I can search for hours on that one, but most of the time I can find it quite quickly. And well, then you have the whole thing. And I try to find something that is a bit quirky or actually more serious. You know, I can be very serious at times as well, but it's also in the kind of mood that you're in that reflects on the page. It's all about emotions as well. And you know, like I said before, it's, to me, this is all therapy. This is all about, you know, especially when you're going through a bit of a difficult time. You know, for me personally, I have some struggles that I'm dealing with right now, and this is the way for me to cope. I'm not going to any detail, but yeah, this is something that ease your mind a bit, and you know, makes you a bit happy, and especially when people are very kind to you in what you're making, and that they're very I don't know, very kind and positive and everything, and it lifts you up. It really does. So I'd thank you for that, you know, especially for the people who encourage me to do this. Thank you so much for letting me open a new door and exploring the world of YouTube. So this is the focal point for today. I choose this one. You know, the focal points that I'm getting is, you know, I got it from a lot of magazines, certain magazines. I got that from, you know, like magazines like Flow or Happiness. I think they're a bit more, I think it's a Dutch brand. But they also have international editions, I know of, and also like Daphne's Diary, and they have all these cool images that you can cut out and don't have a lot of text going through it, you know, which you have a lot in magazines. And that bugs me sometimes. You know, you love the image, but then they have this text going through, and I'm like, how am I going to do this? But yeah, so I'm looking for images that doesn't have it, or as little as possible, that I can work around with. So yeah, I choose this image, and I think I'm gonna cut it even a bit better. Now I'm looking at it, and yeah, I'll glue it together, and then we're gonna do the quotes. See you in a bit. I'm back. Position the camera a bit better here. So, well, what I'm trying to do here is to do some placement for my quotes. What I sometimes do is make some kind of a template. I use these kind of things to make my words, and sometimes I don't know if the size would fit, you know, like the page. So I'd rather do some kind of a template first before I put it directly on the page, because I want to make sure that I, you know, don't get crammed with those words and not how to, you know, I need to see if it fits even or not. So I'm trying to figure out a bit how I'm going to place it, and which is the best way to go. So I chose the phrase, "It is not the camera, but who is behind it." So I found that quite fitting for this image here. And well, as I can tell, it probably would fit. It would have some little overlap, but that's not a huge problem, I think. Maybe I'll even go bit like this. So, but you know, this white paper isn't coming to be, you know, because it's all just the letters, and I'm gonna do it with a black marker. That's my go-to. Or I might even go white. I have bought a white paint marker recently, so maybe I'll try that out, and then I'll outline them with a black marker then. That's something I'm thinking about doing. So, and maybe I can place the word it as well, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do that in white then. Probably would be black. I'm not sure quite yet. But actually I'm quite happy with the placement that I've got, although I have this little word it's floating around on the here underneath. I'm not sure about that yet. Maybe I'll go a bit like this. Or maybe even go so, like that. Who is, but, and maybe going even a bit off center, like so. And camera going like this. You know, and that's the good thing when you're doing some kind of a template, that you can, you know, rearrange a bit until you're happy with, you know, the layout. I actually like this a bit better. It's a bit more playful than what I had before and what I had in mind first. So that's maybe a good tip for you, you know, especially when you work with this kind of size, you know, it's better to do some kind of a template first and see how it works on the page before you're actually going to put it on there. Yeah, so what I'm going to do next is I'm gonna grab this thing here, and then I'll just remove like this, something like that, and just start drawing. Yeah, I do think I'll go with the black in this case instead of the white. I'll trace it with white, I think, but not with the black. So I'm going to grab a black marker and start tracing it. I hope my marker is doing justice, because it has some difficulties lately. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, it's not that great, but we'll see. I'm gonna trace it first and then color it in like so. Okay. And then I need the other one. Put it right next to it, line it up. That's the pleasant thing, that this thing is see-through, so you know where you're at and you know where to place it a bit better. So, okay, that's the first word. And then we're gonna continue like this until I have the whole thing on there, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Excuse me for the clutter and what I'm having here right now. Yeah, well, I wasn't fond of this permanent marker. It didn't work as it should, so I started to use this Ecoline brush pen instead to make these letters more black. And yeah, hopefully it would give me a bit more, a better clean impression. So it's quite dark, so I want to highlight them. And I also glued down this image with this deco glue. It's just regular white glue that I bought from the cheap store. And yeah, I'm going to trace these letters because, you know, it's not that very, it doesn't pop right now. It's quite dark. And also because there are some dark elements also in the background that makes it a bit more difficult to see. So I'm going to use this paint marker that I bought yesterday, and we'll see how it goes. I hope it would work well. So we'll see. As you can tell, you need to push the paint into the point of this marker, the lid. So I'm kind of pushing it. Yeah, you see it's getting a bit more white now, so I must be able to use it now. So I'm gonna switch it. I hope you can see it. I'm going to check if, yeah, if you can see it properly. I think you could. Maybe you could see my head too. Apologies for that one. But basically what I'm doing is actually, you know, tracing the letters, and you already can see that it's coming from the background now instead of being part of the background. So this is a good thing. So I'll do this with all these letters that I made. And if you would, you could use this one as well if you want to do it a bit more neatly, but for me it's like, yeah, I'm not that neat, so I like the more, yeah, scribbly effect, if you will. I do it as neat as I can, but not that tightful, you know. A little bit of this marker is doing quite well, a lot better than my permanent marker from the same brand, so that's kind of funny, but we'll see, you know, if it goes well until the end. That will be great. So far so good. So I'm going to do this. You don't need to see me, you know, tracing all these letters. Once I'm finished, I'll be right back. Hi everyone. Well, as you can see, this is the end result that I made for this page. As you noticed, I also traced the girl here with a black brush pen. And I also traced it, you know, I traced the border around it. I made it with this stencil right here. So I traced it around, so give it a nicer finish. I hoped you liked my first video. I even going to upload a very short version, a very short one. So if you don't want to sit and do the whole long haul with me, then you can watch that one. And then that's basically in a nutshell what I made here. And I hope you enjoyed this process with me. And yeah, if you want to see more of me, react to it, give me some tips. As I said, this is my first one ever, so I'm still searching of a better concept and to do better. And yeah, and subscribe, share, you know, the whole thing. And see you in the next video. Bye for now.